Welcome back to the ABC Networking channel. My name is Tobias van Inge. This time we're going to look at a feature called ARP Throttling, and I'm going to do it a little bit different than you may be used to from me, because normally I use with a text file and I guide you through with the text file through this tutorial. This time I'm going to use the release notes and the manual to make sure that you all see where this feature is and where you can maybe tune it for your own environment. So let's have a look at the release notes. So in the release notes, this is the latest release notes I could find on hpe.com/networking at this given time. This is also the software version I'm using on my 3810M switch. And as you can see, there is a couple of sections in the release notes called enhancements, fixes, issue, workarounds, upgrade information, support, and other resources. So I'm interested in the enhancements for this tutorial. And as you can see, there are a lot of new enhancements. So Aruba OS is getting really powerful. And we're going to focus on ARP attack detection. And ARP attack detection is source MAC based ARP detection. And what it does, it protects the CPU or the switch CPU from ARP attacks by monitoring how many ARP comes from one client. Is that above a certain threshold, it can blacklist these users, or it can also drop these packets. So it is a feature to protect the switch CPU from ARP attacks. As you can see, we need to be in the HPE Aruba OS Switch Multicast and Routing Guide for more information. If we do that, we go here, I already opened up, you go to Chapter 5, Routing Basics, and then you select configuring source MAC based ARP attack detection, so ARP throttling. It is supported on a couple of platforms, the 3800, 3810M, and the 5400R. It is by default it is running in monitoring mode, but I will explain that a little bit later. By enabling is IP ARP throttling enable, and then immediately it goes to invoke ARP attack monitoring mode, because monitoring is the default. And in monitoring, what you will see is, because you have here the remediation mode command, monitoring is default, and monitoring is just measuring the amount of packets coming from the amount of ARP packets going to the switch CPU coming from one particular client, and it measures that, and then can list it as blacklist if it is going above a certain threshold. If you turn on filter mode, then you also start to drop packets. So you also start to drop the ARP packets coming from that particular client. Then you have a couple of other functions that you can tweak or tune for your particular environment. It's also something called H time. And the H time is the amount of time in seconds a client can be marked as blacklisted. So default is 300 seconds. If you want to play around with that, you can either put it higher or lower, and you can see the maximum or minimum values here. Then you have the threshold, and by default it is threshold, and this is measured into steps of 5 seconds. So if it sees 30 packets, 30 ARP packets going to the switch CPU within 5 seconds, then it will be marked at blacklist or in monitoring mode, and of course also in filter mode. But if it is in filter mode, it will also start to drop packets. Then you have exclude MAC. Maybe you have certain systems that are in a legitimate way are allowed to send so many ARP packets to the switch CPU. Then you can exclude their MAC address, and they will not be part of this functionality. And show IP ARP throttle, we can see which packets are blacklisted. We can view the log file to see some more information. Okay, so let's get started real time on the switch. That's better than the manual. So here we go. If we do show run, you can see that I have nothing enabled yet. So if I do show IP ARP throttle, you can see that it is disabled. Remediation mode is monitor, because that's the default mode. 30 seconds or 30 packets per 5 seconds is also default, and 300 seconds for the blacklist. So let's just go into this and do IP ARP throttle and enable. Then do show IP ARP throttle again. You can see it is just enabled, and we keep the default factors. So okay, that's cool. So let's go into my packet generator, and you can see I'm using my USB. This is my MAC address, and I'm using ARP packets. From a control perspective, here I'm using, this is destination MAC, this is my source MAC. Source MAC is the same as my MAC address of my NIC adapter, and this is ARP request. So let's kick it off and start. So it's now generating packets. in continuous mode. So let me see if we already see something. And as you can see, it already marked one client as backlist. So if I do show show log minus R, show log minus R, then we can see that there is a client with this name that is being blacklisted. You see, here's where I enabled it. Then I kick off the packet tracing, and you can see that the clients exceed the limits of our packets and is being blacklisted. Okay, that's nice. So let me configure now the remediation mode, because let me first stop the packet sending, the packet generator. So okay. So now let me go to show ARP throttle, because now we were in monitor mode, meaning we're just monitoring, detecting, and notifying you what's going on. But now we want to put it in filter mode, because we also want to start blocking. It will restart the feature. Yes, let me do show ARP throttle. Okay, there it is. You can see the one client is being tracked. And let me, for sure, I also have enabled, you can do show run. You can see that I also have logging enabled. So I have logging enabled, show IP ARP throttle, show, there we go. Okay, enabled, and let me open my syslog here. As you can see, let me clear this for you, because then we can do this better. So I also have syslog. You saw that I show log R, but if you have a syslog server or management system, you can also log it to there, for example, to IMC or to Airwave, and immediately take additional actions. So it's now running in filter mode, 30 packets per 5 seconds as a threshold and 300 as a blacklist. So these two are defaults, only we change the enable and the remediation mode. So let's go kick it off again and see what's going on. There we kick it off, and you can see immediately our packet from blacklist and client exceed the limit. So there's immediately is blacklisted there, and you can also see that our packet from blacklist client, this is my client, is being dropped. So let me do it like this, easier. And that's it. So we can also see that it is in the show log minus R. And you can see that we have the same, that at least ARP limit, and that it is a blacklisting client. So this way we can automatically protect the switch CPU from clients that send too many packets. And if you want to change some more in the configuration, you can use ARP throttling. You want to tune it for your own environment, you can use ARP throttling. You can add an excluded MAC address. So for example, if I don't want to have this MAC address being part of that particular process, because I know that application or that system sends these ARP packets, you can do it with exclude MAC. You can disable it by, or we can turn it on and off. Aging time, you can change it, and you can change the threshold or turn the remediation mode back to monitor. So I hope you like this tutorial. Please leave any comments if you have questions or ideas for other video or things you want to see as a tutorial, because you're dealing with that. Please spread the word of this channel, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and looking back at the next tutorial. Thank you very much.